Hello, we're going to give you some ideas about the presentation for this Farnsworth house. On Canvas, you can see this file, and here you have some options. So you need to know what you want to do, and then you can do it. So we can use something abstract with backgrounds like this, or we can use this line drawing, very nice, with just a few shades of gray. And then we have to use some perspectives, some we zoom in and we see a part of the house, or we can have the perspective of the house like this. But I'm going to give you some ideas about the presentation. So imagine that we want to do something like that, very elegant, with just lines and a few shades of gray here. And that's important. We have the elevation here, and we have this line, which is the ground line. And as of this line, everything is gray. And then we have other grayish areas like this. But the first thing is that we have the plan and the elevation. Let's do this. If we have this plan in Revit with all the tiles, the first thing you see that here, the section through the walls is black. Can we do that in Revit? We can do that easily if we are in this, in any, but we have to do this in each view that we have open. So if we're going to do this on level 1, we have to do this on level 1. And then if we want to do the same thing on level 2, we will have to do it again. Okay. But if we are on level 1, if we go to graphic display, visibility graphics, sorry, here, you see visibility graphics. And what do we want to select? We want to select columns and walls. So if we select columns, we go to patterns, cut, pattern, and then we override this to solid fill and black color. We apply. You see that we have done this with the columns. If we want to do the same with the walls, then we have to go to visibility graphics again. We have to select walls, the same, the cut pattern, override, solid, black, and apply. Okay, so here we have the black walls, because this is the cut plan, and everything that it's on that cut plan, it's black. That's a good strategy, and you will see a lot of examples of architectural drawings with this technique, that the cut plane is black. Okay, so if we want to insert this in Photoshop, then we have to go to the south elevation, and on the south elevation, yeah, we have this the wireframe. Okay, the hidden line, we can use this. But the thing is that we don't want any of these elements. So we have to right-click, hide in view elements. And if we want to hide in view all the elevation marks, we have to right-click, hide in view, and then we select category. They all disappear. And then we select hide in view, category, and all the grids disappear. Okay, so that's the floor plan. And then we have to do the same with the south elevation. Hide in view category. Here we want to hide the levels. And finally, we want to hide the scope box. So here we don't have the trees, but we do have the south elevation and the floor plan. So let's print both as PDFs. So I'm going to print out as a PDF the south elevation and the plan. When I have the PDF file, I open Photoshop, I create a new file or a new drawing. And here I'm going to prepare the poster. So it's in inches. The width is 17, the height is 11, and I'm going to use a good resolution, 300 pixels per inch. And then I create this page, and there you go. Now I will open with Photoshop the south elevation with the same resolution, 300. Okay, so I have this file with the south elevation, and I'm going to do the same with the level 1. There you go. Okay. Now I select everything, Control A, Control C, and then I'm going to copy it here, Control V. Okay, as you can see, I just have the lines. Okay, I don't have any background. The background is transparent, but the lines with the tiles and everything is there. Okay. If we want to make it visible, we can add a new layer. So we put this layer with lines on the top and this one below. I make this white and I select the paint bucket and make it white. So now it's clear. But if I use this option, you know that this is just the background. Okay. So now I have to select the elevation, the south elevation, Control A, Control C, and Control V. Do they have the same size? Okay, this is layer 1. This is the south elevation. Well, if we want to move this, we have to make sure that we click on one of the lines. Okay, because if you don't click on one of the lines, we can't move it. So sometimes it's tricky to adjust this to the right size. Okay, so how can I make sure? Well, when you have two drawings, you can find this layer. Sometimes you find this pink line, so that means that those lines are lined up. But if we don't, yeah, apparently these two elements are the same size. But imagine that they are different sizes. Okay, like this. So the most important thing is that we have to adjust the size of these two elements, and we have to line up this face here and that face here. We can use in view, we can use guidelines. This is the new guide. We are going to use a guideline vertical, 0 inches. And now the guideline is here. It's this blue line we have here, and we can move it. Okay, so we have to move it, and we have to line up the guideline to this. Okay, and now if we have this element, we have to move this, and we make sure that this is lined up here. Okay, so now these two drawings are lined up, and that's a good thing. And what about now? We have to scale this, so we can use another, remember, view, new guide, and we can use another guideline. Here, we can move it up to this point. There you go. And now I select the south elevation, this layer, edit, transform, scale, And now we have to scale this up to this point. Transform, scale. There we go. Okay, so now that's important. If we are preparing a presentation, it's important that the drawings are lined up. And now probably we have to move this up. Don't worry about the guidelines, so you don't have to delete them, because they when you save it or you print it out, you don't save the guidelines. Okay, so you don't print out the guidelines. So we have this, and what do we have? As you see here, what we have is a black line, so that's the elevation line. Here it's a slightly, it's not straight, but well, doesn't matter. We can make it, if we select this paintbrush and then we make it black. I always recommend use another layer. Okay, and we can paint this starting here. If we want to make it thicker, we have to increase the size of this brush. Okay. And now I want that effect that this is gray, very light gray. Okay, so I'm going to I can select everything from this line downwards. I will increase this selection here. Okay. And okay, so let's do this. Now I'm going to select a very light gray, use the paint bucket, and do that. But actually, this is not what I want, because okay, see, so I want the house to be white. Okay, so I need the gray thing around the house, but actually the floor plan is white. So how can I do it? I have to select, I'm on this layer, I use the magic wand. So if I use the magic wand, I have selected everything that it's around the house and it's white, including these two gaps here. Like this, like that. And now we want to delete, so we have to select inverse. And on this gray layer, we delete it. And we have the background and the layer. Where is, okay. So if this is the edge of the gray, we have to extend the black line here. So I select black again. I extend this here. Okay. And if we find this to be too dark, we can use the magic wand and we can use adjustment, brightness, and we can make it brighter. If we want to create this effect with different shades, we can do it easily using this option of pen tool, and we can use the freeform or so let's use the freeform pen tool. So you see that we have different points. And basically here we have a shape. Okay, so I'm going to start again. If you use this and you create a shape like this, so you have points, and then you can edit those points and you can change the curve. Okay, so basically we have control on this curve. So now that we know how it works, I'm going to create a free shape around the house. So let's do this. I'm going to create a free shape around the house. Well, it doesn't look so good. So what I want to do is to change the color of this to make it grayish. And again, we have to crop it. Well, be careful with this, because as we have used the okay, so we can always make it softer, but well, that's too much. Okay, so probably we have this issue with the control lines, that we have created a shape that it's not what we were looking for. Well, actually we can work it out later. And the good thing is that we can always select, or we can always change the color or make it brighter. Okay, so we can control the shape and we can control the color of that shape. But we have to select everything, inverse, and now it doesn't work because we have to rasterize the layer first. Okay, so when we have this square here, that means that this is an object, an active object, and we can do the same things that we do when we have an image. So if we are done with the shape, we can rasterize the layer, and now we can delete this. And now with this shape, we can control the opacity. And even if we don't like the profile, we can use the eraser. And we can fix it. Okay, and finally, if we want another shape, we can try to let's use this curvature pen tool to see if it works differently. Yeah, probably that works in a different way, and it fits better for what we want. Okay. So now again, change the color. So we should move it downwards. Then select this again, inverse. Okay, before doing that, we have to rasterize the layer again. Rasterize the layer, and then we can delete this. Okay, so you see that we have this same effect we have here with curved shapes and different shades of gray. If we seem there too dark, we can always select brightness, contrast, and make them brighter, all of them. Okay. Finally, here we have some trees, but look at these trees. They are very, so it's not a realistic tree, it's just a silhouette of a tree. So we can use some of those. Okay, I think that that works well. So I'm going to copy, paste it here. And what I want now is to delete all these and delete all the trees that I'm not going to use. So now I have only these ones. Here the trees are transparent, and I agree. So the trees should be transparent here. So what I can do is to select the inside, and then I leave only the silhouette of the trees. If we want to make it darker, you can use this lightness. Nope. Okay, because we want to remove this here. So we can make the contour darker. And then we can edit, transform, scale, make them bigger. So I think now we have the same effect. And if we have this, okay, so now we have the same effect here. And if we are done with this, that's fine. Here we have the south elevation. Here we have the plan. There are some things that we have to add to the plan, and probably they're not here. Okay, so when we are preparing a document like this, and we're using the plan view or floor plan, we always have to insert two things, the north arrow or the north sign, and then a graphic scale. So let's do this. We can type north arrow. And which one do you want to select? This one. Okay, don't go crazy with well, that one would be nice too. Copy image, Control V, and the north sign, it has to be north oriented, so we don't know where the north is in this Farnsworth house. So let's make it smaller. Okay, so it's a question of when we know where the north is, we can rotate this sign. Okay, so that would be the north, and this is mandatory. We always need the north sign when we are working with a plan view. And the other thing that we need is the graphic scale. Here we don't have any dimensions, so we have to use a graphic scale. So what's a graphic scale? In feet. A graphic scale, yeah, so give us information of the size of things. Okay, so here we have this 23, 30. Okay, so again, we need to find the scale that it's close to the size of our drawing. So we can use this one. Copy and paste it. Okay, that goes well. It has to be at the top of everything. And we have to delete the background. Okay, so we can use this one and look at this. This is from 0 to 30 feet. We're going to use the last one. Yeah. Okay, so we need a reference here in our building. What's the size of okay, so between two grid lines is 22. Okay, so the distance between two columns is 22 feet. If this is 0. Zero? Kind of. So this is around 22 feet. This is 23 and this is 30. Yeah, so kind of. If we have to adjust this, we can always transform scale and we can adjust this to 22 feet. So this is 30, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, so 22 should be around here. If we want to be very accurate, we can remove this. And where should this graphic scale be? Yeah, close to the north sign, because those are two pieces of information that we need to understand the location of the building and the actual size of the building. Okay, but again, we have to select something that goes well with the elements that we have decided here. If it's just a line and shades of gray, so they should be something very light. So don't select other graphic scales that are okay. So this might work for other kind of pictures, but if we are doing something very elegant here, so the graphic scale should be like this. What's left? So this is mandatory, and we are doing something. It doesn't mean that this is what you have to do. You have to try different things, and probably I will show you. Now I will show you how to do this, which is something completely different. Okay, but working with the same elements, the south elevation and the floor plan. But now we have to insert the perspective. So if we have done this, now the perspective has to occupy all that space that is left here. Do we have a perspective? I have this one. Okay, I'll use this one. I'll drag and drop here. And okay, so the goal is that now I have to resize this element so that I have all these lined up. Okay, and what's this? Okay, this can be the sky. So if I want to use that space, probably I could use, if we're done with this grid line, we can move it here, because the grid lines are great to select things. If I want to select now the sky, of this picture, okay, just by creating a gradient, even better, I will use the same color. I'm going to pick this color for the sky. And then if I use a gradient here, well, to use this, I have to rasterize the layer as always. And then if I do this, that looks nice because there's a, so this gray is the same as that one. So we are combining colors nicely here. Okay, so that's it. In this one, I have included the travertine texture. I have the tiles here, and we don't need that much. So this could be a nice layout for this, for the perspective and the plan in the south elevation. So we don't need anything else. Well, sorry, we do need something else. And what is it? We need text. Okay, so I'm going to, what's the title of this text? This is the one. Okay, so what's the font that we need here? Well, as you see, it's overwhelming. We have thousands of fonts. When in doubt, use this Arial, and not italic, but regular. Okay, so if you don't know what kind of font you have to use, this is a safe bet. The other thing is the color. By default, I have this color. Well, I think it's good. So if I edit and transform and scale it, yeah, so if I have this size, so I would center this title here. I think it's a good font size, and even this dark red color goes well with this grayish background. Okay, and what are the fonts that we need? So we need a font size for the title. Then if you want to add some information, fonts word design. Well, sorry, I okay, so we need basic information about the house. So this size should be smaller, this one. Okay, so we can select it, reduce the size of this font, and if we keep writing, I don't know if it's 1957 or whatever. The well, actually, we can copy it. Okay, so if we select about information about the Farnsworth house, you will find a lot of information. PDF. Okay, so that's it. But now we have to adjust this. And this is not about selecting the size. This is about text. I have to select it. And now I have to place it. Okay, I think I didn't select the right option. So I'm going to delete this, because when you want to adapt the text paragraph to a specific size, you have to do this. Okay, so now we can copy the Farnsworth house, and probably we can make it smaller. I think 16 is good. And then, well, Photoshop is not great at using this, at adapting this. Okay, so we can have the same, so we can line up this paragraph here as we did there. Okay, actually, we can, if we select the text, here we have this layer in properties, but we have advanced properties for character and paragraph. So in paragraph, we have this option, and we can adjust this size. Okay, so it's not by default. By default, we only have these options, but if you use advanced properties, you can do this. I think it looks better. Okay, so what do we need? We need information about the project, about the house itself, and then we need information about you. Okay, so you can type your name, Arch 120, assignment, whatever. And what is the font size? It doesn't have to be as big as the title. We can probably, well, I don't know, but I think if you use the same font size as you have used here, that will be good. And then you can place it here or there. But the text, it's important, because the text is like another image. Yeah, we can read it and we have some information about it, but it's where we place it, the font that we use. So we need an idea to place the text. All right, so I think this is a good example of the first page layout. So save it, and that would be one of the first submissions.